Hello, everybody. We're going to give it a few minutes. We're about 2 minutes early. We're going to start promptly at 1 o'clock. So grab some coffee, grab some tea, and sit back, relax, and we'll be talking about Copilot and AI in a few. All right, we're going to start up in about a minute. Just get a few people to settle in. All right, guys, I'm a punctual person. It's 1 o'clock. I'm Wayne Roy. I got Brian with me. I'm glad you guys came on board. I want to welcome you all today to the briefing on our Copilot for SMB. My name is Wayne Roy. I'm a Microsoft strategic consultant with TroyNet, and we help companies navigate adoption and automation of the Microsoft platform. And we wanted to talk to you guys today about Copilot, and hopefully we can get some valuable information to help you guys make decisions around if Copilot's right for you and right for your company. So with no ado, I'm going to jump on in. A little bit of house cleaning. In some place along the line, I'm going to ask everybody to fill out a questionnaire. If you could, please, that'd be highly appreciated. There's a questionnaire I'd like to fill out. Doesn't take long. We're going to take a pause in the meeting for that. And also, everybody that's attending will be eligible to win a $50 Amazon gift card. At the end of the presentation, we're going to be emailing everybody out with a survey. If you complete the survey, you'll be enrolled, and you have a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card. So please stay till the end, and when you receive the email with the survey, make sure you have proper email address when you fill out the questionnaire. We're going to email you. Just complete the survey, and you have the opportunity to get a $50 Amazon gift card for the completion of that survey. With no further ado, let's jump on in. Like I said, we're talking about Copilot, and I'm here today to help you understand how Copilot can help you unleash the power of AI in your organization and prepare for the work for the future. I know everybody keeps hearing AI, and that's the big buzzword. What I'm trying to hopefully get from you when talking to this is this hype or is this reality? Truthfully, it's reality. You're going to see a big impact that AI is going to make on the economy, the technology, and how we work and function moving forward, whether we like it or not. Right? So let's jump in to some interesting information that I found. So one of the key drivers that's changing emerging technology now is generative AI. What generative AI is a type of AI that can create content. It can create things such as text, images, audio, or video, and that's based on the input or existing data that it has available for it to work. It can analyze and create complex contents, things like documents, presentations, or even conversations. Okay, generated is powered by something called large language models. You may hear people talk LLM. If you hear them say LLM, that means large language model. Things such as ChatGPT-4 and DALL-E 3, those are things that pull billions of data points and generate natural learning language. And if you look at this adoption rate historically with technology, the mobile phone, which we think is wonderful, and everybody has one on their hip or in their pocket today, the adoption rate for a mobile phone for 100 million users took 16 years. That many people to adopt that technology. The internet took 7 years for the adoption of that technology. Facebook took 4.5 years for 100 million users to adopt that technology. ChatGPT, when it came out, within 3 months, 100 million users were already using the platform and using AI. That tells you how much of a game changer and how much of an effect that this is going to have, because a lot of people are going to be adopting it very fast and very quickly and consuming information at a fast pace. And the impact for generative AI is not only impacting technology, but also our economy. We're living through a tremendous time right now, and history has taught us that technology drives GDP growth. And our current pace of change is accelerating. If you look at this chart, it shows how different technology revolutions boosted the economic growth within the country. If you pay attention, the biggest leap of change for GDP was in the 1800s. That's when you started getting steam engines, and that was only a 4-time change in the economic growth of a country. But if you look in the 1900s, the 20th century, we had a 20x change. So within 1 century, we've done 20 times more economic growth than we've done for 9 centuries. Now with the adoption of AI, that's now going to spike. And this distribution of wealth is going to be incredible. Those people can learn how to adapt and to consume information using and leveraging AI. Microsoft has done us a favor. They've actually created a Microsoft Work Trend Index, okay? And what this does is they have actually done the legwork for us to go out and understand trends that we see in the market. They take trends from their platform, Microsoft Graph, as well as from market trends from LinkedIn. And the benefit for everyone here is we can take the insight that they have and make us use strategic business decisions for our company. And I'm going to go through some of the points that we see. Based on the research, 64% of employees don't have enough time or energy to do their job. A lot of people feel overwhelmed, especially now with COVID. After COVID has passed, there's a lot of work from home, and people are more connected and have less excuse of not being able to be reached than ever before. Okay, the primary cause of this time and energy drain are things like when they need to search for information, or they're navigating inefficient meetings, because we all have tons of meetings now as compared to before. Okay, they found employees reported spending nearly 60% of their time on communicating and coordinating. And that just leaves about 40% for creation, deep thinking, and collaboration. And in the new world, creativity is the capital we work with. And if we're not allowing ourselves the time to be creative, we're not going to survive. The volume of data, emails, and chat is outpacing our ability to process it. They have a name for it. We call it digital debt. So every minute spent managing this digital debt is a minute not spent on creative work. In a world where creativity is going to be the new productivity, digital debt is more than an inconvenience. It's impacting your company and the way you do work. Nearly 2 in 3 people say they don't have time and energy to do their job. Okay. If I want to relay anything to everybody here that's thinking about, hey, AI, the benefits, what the world's going to look like moving forward, is AI even a threat? The people that are creative will survive, because AI is only as smart as the people that's giving the information to, and we're going to touch base on that later on. So the new commerce and the new value moving forward is creativity. That's what human beings have, the ability to be creative. And the leverage of AI is to allow us to free up our time to be more creative. You should be hiring people because they're creative and they can find ways of solving problems so you can be profitable or you can be more productive. That's the new norm that should be looked at for hiring people and moving forward with everything. So employees are lacking time and energy to do their job. They say 3 to 5 times more. Employees are 3 to 4 times more likely to struggle with innovation and strategy thinking. So employees are starting to embrace the idea of using AI to support their work. And through the survey, it says 70% of employees are open to delegating some of the work they receive to AI. This will actually lessen their workload. So employees are really embracing the concept of AI and what it can actually do for them. There's always people that may feel AI related job loss is a threat. But the data shows that companies are looking to leverage AI to empower people, not to replace them. In fact, in a survey, most managers were 2 times more likely to say AI would be most valuable for boosting productivity versus cutting headcount. So this fear that AI is replacing jobs, that is not really valid. Okay, what it's going to do is streamline how you work, and it's a tool to leverage the people that you have around you to work more efficiently, more productive. So what you should be doing is increasing your revenue, increasing your profit. That's what AI is going to allow you to do because your people can be more efficient and they can work the way they're supposed to. This slide shows what employees are most likely to be, or what they're requesting AI for, what they feel they can use for. Finding information and answering questions, summarizing meetings and action point. That's me completely. I have tons of meetings. I've been using Copilot to quickly summarize. I don't need to take notes. You're going to see it further on as well. I'm going to go through it. I don't take as much notes when I have my meetings because AI is reviewing my meetings and will highlight things that I've trained it to be relevant to me. So if I'm in a meeting with somebody, oh, hey, these are the things that we feel spotlighted through the conversation that's worthwhile for you to review, instead of me sitting and looking through a long transcript from a long conversation. Analytical work, things like reviewing Excel sheets, databases, admin tasks, creative work, planning your day is phenomenal use of AI. What are leaders saying? We found that 80% of leaders believe AI will give their organization a competitive edge. And if you throw my vote in, there's 88%. Okay, AI is a competitive advantage. The question is, how are you going to use it and leverage it to get that advantage? So the question that every leader should be asking themselves right now is, how will your organization seize the full potential of AI? How will you do this for your customers? And how are you going to keep relevant as well as competitive in this age of AI? So before starting Path AI, it's important that every organization pause and think through 5 questions for the adoption of AI. First thing is, what are your organization goals? Don't just jump in. You have to think about, what are you really trying to accomplish with AI? Because if you don't have a plan, you're setting yourself up to fail. So what are your organization goals for using AI? What's your organization's pain point within your organization that AI can actually address? What are your organization's current capabilities in terms of AI? Do you have the time? Do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the things in place to actually utilize AI? Or are you going to get a nice, shiny toy and never really use it? Does your organization have data strategy in place? Remember, AI is looking at data. If you don't have a strategy around managing that data, anything can go off the rails without that structure that you need. We're going to talk about structure, but I know I'm putting it off. There's a lot of things I'm going to touch base on later on structure and organization, how to protect yourself using AI. Does your organization have the necessary infrastructure and resource to support AI initiatives? We're going to touch base on that and what's necessary for Copilot for you to start enabling that within your organizations. So what exactly is Microsoft 365 Copilot, and how can it help you and your company? Well, Microsoft 365 Copilot, it's a AI-powered web chat that helps you get more done with less effort. It's almost like having a smart assistant that can answer your questions, generate content, analyze data across Microsoft 365 apps. Copilot delivers in 3 ways. First, it'll boost your productivity and efficiency. Most users say that they're more productive with Copilot and they can focus more on important work. And in fact, the service has 1 in 3 users reporting more than 30 minutes of time saving per day. Now, I'm not sure if most of the people here are business owners or you're working for a company, but if you look in finance and you're looking at a business, if you think 30 minutes, what that means in cost of ownership, take your salary, multiply by 2,080, that's how many hours in a year, okay? And you take that 30 minutes and say, hey, I'm going to get that back. Well, your workday, I forgot what the number of workday, calculate the number of workdays in a year, multiply that by the 30 minutes, and you find out how much more time and value and cost that you're saving for that 30-minute time saving. Second, Copilot will enhance creativity and quality. Copilot helps users complete tasks faster, simplify tasks, complete tasks, and generate high-quality content. Good example, hey, if you needed to create a marketing slick and you didn't have any images, and you said you needed to have a picture of a person sitting by a desk drinking a soda, you can go into AI, tell it, hey, generate me a picture of a person sitting by the desk, sipping a soda, blah, blah, blah. The more description, the better it is. It'll actually generate you your own image that you can use on your material. And there's no copyright infringement because you're generating that content yourself. Third, it improves collaboration and communication. Copilot helps users summarize meetings and creates follow-up actions and allow you to be more efficient in how you communicate, because you're not spending all your time now taking notes, remembering every single thing. Not that you're not listening, but I have a lot of meetings and sometimes I go from one to the other and I have to recap my prior meetings. It's very difficult for me if I don't have a recording, it's all in my memory. With Copilot, I can say, hey, recap my past meetings, give me the high points, and actually tell it to look for keywords. Say, hey, we had a conversation about an agreement. Bring me the content about the agreement and what's my deadline. And it can give me that information. So it's almost like having your own personal assistant working with you. What I want to go through next is let's talk about the foundational setup you need to be AI ready. What do you have to think about foundationally before you start moving forward? First thing, I believe strongly, we're going to touch on the 3 things here. We have empower, standardize, and data. So we're going to touch base on the 3 pillars here. The first pillar is empower employees. You have to sit down and get a buy-in for your organization. With any new things you put in place, unless you have a buy-in, you're never going to be successful. You have to look at your company culture. You have to talk from the bottom all the way to the top. Hey, we're looking to initiate AI. How does everybody feel? This is what we're trying to do. Get the complete buy-in of the organization, because if you don't get the buy-in of the organization, it is not going to be successful. It's going to be used in the wrong way, and people are going to be disappointed for it. So I tell everybody, the first thing you always do is go in and empower the employees. Make them feel secure. Make them understand, hey, we're not trying to cut jobs. We're not trying to take work away. We're trying to improve how you do what you do and to make your life easier, so we can move forward as an organization. You get that buy-in from the beginning. That's first and paramount. My suggestion to everybody that's looking to actually enable AI, figuring out what that's about. So once you get the company buy-in, then it's time to look at Copilot. Again, Copilot's going to allow you to do things like summarize long PDFs. I've done it myself. I've taken Word documents and I said, I may do 3 paragraphs and then tell Copilot, write me a 2-page blog on the subject I've already written, and it'll generate that. And I say, now convert it into a PDF, and it'll generate the PDF for me that I can post. And again, because I'm giving it the content, it's doing it in my words, and it's my content. Copilot's not meant for it to replace you. You have to give it the information for you to generate the stuff you need. But it will take, with minimal information, expand on what you have. It's going to allow you to draft emails. Hey, responding back to email. Somebody sends you email, just want to say, hey, thanks, I'll get back to you soon. And let's recap on what we talked about. Hey, Copilot, send an email, recap my last conversation with this person, tell them I'll reach back out in 2 days. Copilot will go out and do that for you. We talked about generating images, learning skills. Hey, I need to learn how to do this. What's the best? What is Copilot? Go into Copilot, tell Copilot, tell you what's Copilot. It'll break down and tell you what's Copilot. Get answers for specific complex questions. I use it a lot in Excel. It's great for creating graphs, and you're going to see example. I have some demo examples we're going to go through later on of actually live execution of using Copilot so everybody can see how it works. And you'll see example of some ideas you can do within Excel. So now you're going to hear conversation about Copilot free and Copilot for Microsoft 365. And you might say, you know what? Why do I want to pay for it? First off, hey, I don't know, have Copilot. How do I even start? Well, Microsoft doing pre-release, and most people probably see the pre-release on their Windows 11 desktops, a new icon that says preview Copilot. But majority of people, the free version, if you go to the web, there's a web version of Copilot that also has an app. This version is limited. It's slower. It's not as responsive, and there's a minimum amount of responses it will give you since it's the free version. Because anything for free is never going to be robust. The amount of, hey, create me this image, I think is limited to 15. And the responsiveness of the platform is going to be limited based on how many people are making queries on it at that time. It's free version. It's not as secure. And I'm going to go in the next slide, the key decision makers for why you need Copilot for Microsoft 365 and Copilot free. If you're a home user and you just want to dabble, Copilot for free. If you're running a business, you're not going to use the free version. You're going to get a paid version because of many things. And part of it is the third item there, the fourth item there, enterprise grade data protection, because you need that. Another thing you're going to miss is you're not going to get the Microsoft 365 app integration, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, that integration where you now from cross-platform, cross-pollinate data and be able to do things. The thing I mentioned, go in Excel, hey, do this for me. Hey, write me up a 3-page outline for a webinar inside of Word. It's not going to do that in the free version. You have to have the paid version for it to now work within the apps that Microsoft offers. So to keep it simple and easy for everybody, think of it this way. Copilot, all of this is web-based. So Copilot free, it gets its information for whether it's in the internet, whether it's out in the world. Copilot for Microsoft 365 has that ability, but what makes it special, what makes it unique is you have company data. Your company data is specific to your tenant. You don't want anybody else to see that other than your employees that you allow to see it. With Copilot for Microsoft 365, you have the ability to look at your data that you have and being able to now have AI work on that data. You are unable to do that with the free version because it's only looking at the web. The other benefit is you now have the ability to control who sees what with AI, because on the Copilot for Microsoft 365, we're going to touch base a little bit on it. You can set things like sensitivity labels and also permissions, because out of the box, a Copilot and AI will see whatever that user can see. So if I am a secretary and I can see XYZ folders, that's what AI can see. Out the box, it's not going to see everything that the company has open. A lot of people have that fear. But I'm going to premise it with this. It's going to see what you think that person has permission with. The problem is not the data that you think they have permission to. It's the data that you have no idea where it is, where it lies, and who has access to it. That's what you need to worry about. And we're going to talk about data compliance later on, how to kind of mitigate that risk and control. That control of being able to minimize who has access to that data, that's what Copilot for Microsoft 365. People talk about ChatGPT and Gemini. They're getting there, but they're not there yet. At least once they go to the business versions. The difference right now between Microsoft and a ChatGPT, if you go to ChatGPT now and you say, hey, here's my content. I have a poem I'm writing and I want you to clean it up for me. You ingest that into ChatGPT. That data now is inside of ChatGPT. So anybody else that may make a request, AI will look at your information you put in before and use that as part of their response to someone else. So it's not siloed. Anything you put into any AI that's not a business class AI, like ChatGPT, Gemini, and those that's free, that's out there, anything you put in is now accessible to everybody else within the world that has access to that AI. Now, with Microsoft Copilot 365, that data is specific to your tenant. No one else has access to it but you and who you're allowed to have access to it. That's the big difference. That's the big selling point that I feel people need to understand if they're going to be looking at playing around and dabbling with AI, is containing the data that's private to your company. Okay, let's jump into Microsoft 365 Copilot. I'm not even going to talk about free version. We're going to talk about business and what makes sense, because that's what everybody should be looking at. As I mentioned, since you're doing Microsoft 365, you're going to be using specific license, business premium. To use Copilot, you have to have standard, premium, E3 or E5. Those are licenses supplied by Microsoft to allow people to access certain resources. The benefit for that is you get a tenant, you're going to have your own security protocols you can set up for it. A tenant is your company's space where you work and do what you have to do, okay? And allows you to control what has access to that space. So getting the tenant and adding the security levels to it is very important and paramount, because now it's not me sticking my data up in the internet. It's me now having this enclosed space that now I can have AI look at it in a safe environment. Okay, we're going to jump to point with standardizing. There goes standardize on Microsoft 365. As I mentioned before, you want to standardize Microsoft 365. Any company that's less than 300 employees, you should be getting Microsoft 365 Business Premium. If you ever want to talk offline, I can. I help companies all the time work through their budgets, what the proper license to have. But the license gives you the most value and the most results and the most the best is Microsoft Business 365 Premium for companies under 300. Any company above 300 cannot get that license because it's limited up to 300. Then you'll have to look at the E3, E5 license. But that license gives you the most benefit out of any license Microsoft has right now. That gives you the security, that gives you the Copilot, they give you all these other additional things that if you add them on separately would cost you a lot. Okay. And I apologize, so we're clear. Copilot does not come with premium. You can add it on, but it has the now it will enable Copilot, and it has all the additional things that would need to properly execute on Copilot. And I was talking about with the 365, when you get like the business premium, it has all of these things built into it. It's not just securing the tenant itself. You also have to have a centralized security across all the platform. I have a lot of time I struggle with explaining to people that when you talk about controlling your data and making sure that employees are not access things that they're not supposed to, people say it's in the cloud, I have to worry about it. That's nice. But you see the laptop that they access that data with? If that device they're using to connect to your company information is not secured by your company, then it's a security gap. Because if a hacker can get into that device, I don't care if you're on the cloud or not, I can get your password, I can see what you're doing, I can access all your data because I can spoof you and I'm on that device. So the issue is not, hey, you're in the cloud. It's issues you also have to secure the users that's accessing it, as well as secure what they're accessing, if that makes sense to everybody. So 365, Business Premium, E3, E5, those are the things you should be looking at, because those give you the things that you need to enable yourself to be secure using AI. All right, now let's hit on the last point. And this point is the most important. Organize sensitive business data. We spoke about AI and the fear of AI that everybody has. At least I had pop in my head as soon as I hear it. Oh my Lord, it's going to be taking over and it's going to get everything and it'll know everything. True, if you allow it. The primary thing you have to think about with enabling AI, actually prior to enabling AI, is understanding where your data is. And we do this all the time. We deal with compliance and data access for a lot of clients. We come and do audits, and we actually help them set up their sensitivity labels and their data categorization. I have not met any clients. I would say I've met one or two that has done it, but the majority of people that I've met cannot tell me where their data is and cannot tell me what's the category for each piece of data. It may sound crazy, but how do you know to protect something? How do you know who has access to what if you don't know where your data is, you don't know what type of data it is? And don't tell me, oh, I got that folder that says accounting. You know, that's great. But what about that tax form that you have in another folder that you forgot because you put it in there in the year 2020 and you dropped it over there in a folder that says do not delete, and you haven't touched that in over XYZ amount of years, and you forgot that it's there? What about those copies of stuff you make because you couldn't find the original, and you made another copy and put it in your desktop or put it in this folder? The shadow data is the most terrifying thing that's out there. It's not the data that you know where it is, it's the data that you don't know where it is. So before you enable AI, because if you don't have those things sorted out, AI will see whatever you see. Well, it does a better job than you do because it has the ability. The flaw that we have with employees that we're not afraid of, that's why we haven't done this category of data, is because, hey, Tom is not going to spend the time to dig down through every document to find out one piece of document there because he doesn't have the time, the tenacity, or the patience to do that. AI will. Copilot will, because that's what it does. It's there to look at tons of data, tons of information that we don't have the time, effort, and energy to look at, categorize it, and make it available. So that's the power of AI, but that's also the challenge of AI, that you now need to go in and have somebody look at the data, where it is, and create things called sensitivity labels. What sensitivity labels are, they allow you to categorize information, your messages, your files, even your meetings, even the chats that you have, even stuff within your calendar, you can set certain, I have things called privacy, internal privacy, external. You can actually have it automatically do it, or you can manually set it, and you can set different tag for different folders as well as for files. And it's called sensitive label. How sensitive is that data? That piece of data, can I share it with everybody? Is it just internal? Is it just for the executives? Once it's labeled, it now prevents somebody that doesn't have the authority to see that, to even see that, and that includes AI. And that's how you're going to now limit the ability for AI to do things that you may not want done within your organization by certain people based on their roles. So that's key and that's paramount, and that's very, very important. At the end of this, we're going to give you a link for a Copilot readiness assessment. Part of that is you definitely want to do assessment. It's going to see where you are in your ecosystem, your environment, and how ready you are to actually enable something like AI within your organization. But with that said, I know what everybody's waiting for. Let's jump into talk about Copilot. But before we do that, I'm going to ask, remember I said I'm going to make an ask of everybody. If everybody can spend a few minutes, I'm going to take a pause right now. Microsoft wants to do this questionnaire, as well as we're going to send out that survey for the Amazon gift card. But if you can spend a few minutes now, snap this with a QR code. Brian, can you drop the web link inside of the chat, if you could, please? And actually dropped it in there as well. If everybody can just fill this out, I'm going to take like a minute. And if you can give me a thumbs up when it's done, that'll be phenomenal. And I think next time we're going to kind of open this up where we can get a little bit of dialogue. I'm a people person. I like to talk to people more than, talk at them. But if anybody can go through it, I'm going to pause a few minutes and start giving me thumbs up when you've done it. And thank you, thank you, thank you. It's highly appreciated on my side, and you'll be doing me a big favor, and I appreciate it. And if we were live, I would say a round of coffee for everybody. I should have a contest. First person to finish it gets an additional Amazon gift card. I'll do that next time. Give out 2 of them. Anybody? I tell you what, you guys continue filling that out. What I'm going to do is let's go in, and you can still do it while I'm going through. But in the next few slides, we're going to give you some examples of Copilot and how it actually works live. Okay, Copilot for Microsoft 365 frees your mind from tools and repetitive tasks. That's the big takeaway from Copilot. It's going to allow you to do things that you may not be able to do because you're so tied up with mundane tasks and things you have to do. It'll allow you to focus on what matters. Again, running your business, building your brand, scaling yourself, growing your customer base. Copilot as well, it's embedded into the Microsoft platform. It's embedded into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams. So now you can go across the breadth of those products and be able to cross-pollinate information. And I'll give you a good example. I took a Word document, went into PowerPoint and said, hey, from this document, create me a slide deck for a presentation. And it'll generate it. So having that ability to go across platform and pollinate data information and using one thing to create another, that's the power of Copilot and Microsoft 365. So I'm going to go through a quick demo video that shows you the usage of Teams meetings, quick and short, and we'll go from Teams to Outlook to Word to Excel, give you guys a foundation idea. If there's anything wrong with the audio, Brian, just give me a heads up, let me know, okay?
Okay.
There you go. And that's Copilot within Teams. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many other things that it can do in Teams. I'm a Teams person. I play around that platform all the time. But the intelligent recap that you get from within Teams to be able to summarize meetings, which is always a big challenge of, seeing, if you see, it has a way of looking at timelines when certain things were said in the meetings, highlighting important talking points for the meetings. So you don't have to remember every single thing. You need to remember, hey, I'm in a sales call. What are the customer's pain points? We're in the dialogue, XYZ happened. That is phenomenal within the meeting for me. And be able to also get these transcripts and have the transcripts outlined for what's important to me within a meeting, I found is very invaluable. So let's jump into Outlook. What this video doesn't talk about is why I use Outlook a lot, Copilot Outlook, is responses in emails. You can have Copilot look at a thread of a conversation and respond back in the language that the other conversation based on. You would talk to a prospect and you guys were talking about the proposal. Please recap the proposal, the next steps, and in an email right from in the Outlook, and it'll generate that email. Or you get an email and you need to respond back to it quickly, and you want to spend a lot of time, but you want to respond back in the right way. Copilot, create a response, boom. This tone, this feel, back to Bob, and look at the prior conversation and the tone of that conversation, respond back. Because those things help me to move really quick to respond back to emails. So let's jump to Word. I love it in Word. There's so many things you can do within Word with Copilot. Another thing it doesn't mention in here with Word document, how we also use it, it's you can have a proposal template. And right from there, you go Copilot, add the file with the extension, put the extension, what that file for that proposal template, write me a new template for XYZ company for this proposal. And it'll actually write up the proposal using that template. So you don't have to, when you need to do bids, you need to write proposals, you need to do quotes, you don't have to do it all over from scratch. You have a base template, it'll fill in everything for you and put the formatting name so you can just send that proposal out 1, 2, 3. There's Copilot in Excel. So basically, you don't have to be an Excel guru to now generate these reports, be able to see projections. The hardest thing about data is have it in a view that you can actually use it and digest it, which is very, very, very important. And Copilot allow you now to have that Excel expert where you don't have to be one. Just as long as you know what you want, you can create it. I've had 2 other scenarios. I'm not going to go through them right now because for time's sakes, we're already about 45 minutes in. So another time ago, a day in the life of HR sales. It's phenomenal for allowing your salespeople to enable themselves. I want to touch on a point that I mentioned earlier. Remember, AI is only as good as the content you put in. You have to understand what goal you want. What's the output you want from Copilot? You have to put it within context of what you want, and you have to give it good data sources and good references for it. Again, think of Copilot as, hey, you just hired an intern from college. The person's bright, the person's smart, but they don't have much context and they don't have much information because they're new to the industry. You bring them into your office. You're not going to say, just do this. You're going to give them some guidance. But they're smart. They're able to grasp it really quick. But you're going to continuously give them feedback and information and guide them in the way that you like them to work. That's how you deal with AI, and that's how you work with Copilot. You're going to take Copilot and say, make believe that's your intern, that's your assistant, and give them quality information and guide them so they'll learn. Because like that intern over time, if he's the intern with you, that's pretty stays for a year. That person learned your habits, knowing your likes. They can think about what you're thinking before you think of it. And that's what you have to do with Copilot as well. Train it on how you would like to work and how you'd like to function. Recap again, Microsoft, your data is your data. Anything that's in the Microsoft environment is your data. It's not out in the internet. Other people can't access it unless you allow it. Okay, but it's your data. It stays contained. That's the value of Copilot for Microsoft 365. You input data, anything you input stays within your environment. Also, Copilot does not maintain any of your queries inside the system. You're going to have a thread, but when you're done with that thread, that query is not maintained. If you use any AI that's outside on the web right now, those queries that you put in are retained because they're learning, and those whatever you put in is now shared with whoever else is out there and may query something similar to you. So AI is reinventing every industry: healthcare, finance, retail. Healthcare is going to help doctors pre-diagnose symptoms. Hey, there's a trend that this person has or this genetic pool has. Want to take a look at it. Finance, it's going to look at, detect suspicious activity, fraudulent activities, trends in finance, stocks, companies, retail. Hey, how often this person has purchased this? What are you purchasing? What's the trends around that? It's going to be at the fingertip for a lot of these people now. Manufacturing, supply chains, best routes to deliver. How is the inventory? How should that turn around? How frequently should I re-up? How frequently should I sell? What's selling? What's not selling? Those things are now going to be not just something that's a difficult thing to do. You're going to have something that's continuously giving you that data. So with that said, I hope everybody got some valuable information from this. If you want to get started, the conversation, because I'm going to say do not jump in blindly. If you want to start the conversation, if you scan this QR code, you can go to our site and you can you put in for our Copilot readiness assessment. You can also get information from us of how to work better with Copilot. If you need to understand more about the security verifications and what to do to protect yourself from data that may be accessible by AI within your environment, reach out to us. We're here. We're looking to give back, and anything you need, touch base with. And if you're to reach out to us directly, you want to shoot us an email. Email is engage@troynet.com. So it's ENGAGE at T's and Tango, R's and Ralph, O's and Oscar, I's and Ingrid, NET.com. Think of total return